Hey everyone, it's Tyler, Vire Sabers. Today we're going to be answering the age-old question, what is the Xenopixel? Alright, so here's a look at the board. Let's see, we got this lovely purple. And of course it's a NeoPixel soundboard. Go ahead and pop out the battery, and I'll show you how to pull out the SD card real quick too. So you get it right here. These wires, you just want to make sure they're kind of out of your way. And if you stick one finger down in here and catch this lip, and then you come in from the top and grab a hold of it there as well, you can just real carefully work it out. And then just kind of keep wiggling it. It's a little tricky, but that's because the board's kind of long. And there we go, we got that. Also in your package, you're going to find one of these SD card readers. You can just pop the lid off that, stick this into here, and just pop that right into your USB port on the PC, and that'll show you all the files and such. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and put this back in. You want to make sure that the little pads there are facing towards the board, because that's where the actual pins are to read the card. So you're going to come in. Sometimes it's easier to load it from the top, but see how it's facing towards me. Just kind of drop it down into place, then flip it over, and real carefully just work it in there. You really shouldn't have a whole lot of resistance. If you feel like you're forcing it in, it's because you are, and you have a chance of breaking off your SD card tray. So you really should just kind of slide right in there. Pop the battery back in, and you're ready to rock. Alright, so now that we've seen what the board looks like, let's take a look at what the board can do. Alright, so when you first power it on, you're going to press and hold the button for a few seconds, and then you're going to be met with a familiar voice that says, "Power on."
Power on.
Alright, so now it's in awake mode, or standby mode. Tap the button, it's going to ignite the saber. And in my current config that I have set up, I do have twist on and off enabled. Allows you to do that. Okay, so first thing we can do with this, we're going to have it in standby mode. We're going to hold down the button for one flash and then let go. That's going to change the volume. So one.
Volume low.
Volume low. Mute.
Volume high.
Back to volume high. So that is by pressing and holding one flash to let go. Two flashes is going to change the blade mode. So we're going to have
steady.
So that first one there was kind of like a unstable effect. This one's steady. So this is just your straight on, no effect, no flicker. Okay, so that was two flashes. We're going to do that again.
Pulse.
Now we're on pulse. I don't know how well the camera is going to pick this up, but it's just got like a real faint, almost like it's breathing. Kind of adds a cool effect to it. Okay, next one we got. We're going to hold down for two, let go. 1, 2.
Rainbow blade.
Pretty rainbow. The next one currently does not have a sound. I know we are working on adding that in. So it's not going to say anything yet. It will. Currently we're referring to this one as the candy blade. It's kind of another rainbow blade with a different effect. Okay. 1, 2.
Unstable.
A real flickery, unstable effect there. 1, 2.
Fire blade.
That one's a little less unstable, more like a flame.
Steady.
And then we're back to steady. Now we actually select, so that was like blade styles and effects. The next one is like the blade mode. That's going to be 3 flashes. 1, 2, 3.
Blaster blade.
This one's cool. So you'll notice there's no blade or anything, but when we tap it, I like that one. It's fun. What else we got here? Here, 1, 2, 3.
Ghost blade.
Ghost blade. So when you hold real still, you get nothing. Okay. Alright, so now we're getting into the pre-on effects. So that's 3 flashes. 1, 2, 3. And I think eventually we're going to name these so that it has an actual name instead of just that sound effect. And the nice thing about the Xenopixel board is that LGT plans to continue to update the firmware for this, which is super easy. I'll kind of go over that in a little bit here as far as how to do it, but it's super easy. So we're just going to continue to add new features and tweak stuff that isn't quite right, but it's overall, I think we're on update 3 now. It's pretty good. I'm excited about it. So let's keep going. 1, 2, 3. Stacking effect. Okay. And 1, 2, 3. Phasing there. And of course, these are subject to change with any given update. They might add more. Hopefully, they'll make them more customizable in the future. But right now, this is all stuff that comes built in when you get it. 1, 2, 3. And there's currently these pre-on effects you cannot change in the config yet. It'll be whatever color your blade is currently set to. It'll change to that. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Standard blade.
And then we're back to the beginning. Okay. Some of the things that you can edit in the config are going to be your twist on, twist off. You can turn that off with either a 1 or a 0. You can adjust the sensitivity on the motion controls like that. There's also a swing on. I can't remember if I have it enabled on this one or not. I do. Okay. Oops. Accidentally activated music. There we go. So 4 flashes is going to be your sound fonts. That's to go forward to the next sound font. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Another cool thing, on the SD card in the config, it'll have the file numbers for each sound font, and next to it you can pick your colors. So you got your RGB, so you set a value. You'll have 3 values, and I'll show you that more here in a little bit too as well. So each sound font, we can actually set the predetermined color on for it. So when I turn on Ray's sound font, it's on yellow.
The dark sword.
And all these effects, whatever effect you have turned on, it'll stay on for every single sound font. So like if I were to put on the unstable blade effect, it would be active until I turn it to something else, no matter what sound font we have. Keep turning on the music. So that's how you go forward in sound fonts. I think currently we have 22 come from the factory stock, and now we've just started adding in 12 additional ones that came from our buddy over at Reaver's Arsenal. And I believe the LGT factory will start putting those on soon, but right now I think only some vendors will have those, and we do. So those are really cool ones. When I get to those, I'll show you some of them.
How did it cost? Ben Soto.
And I don't know if you guys want me to sit here and skip through all of these, but
You will take the throne. I've become more powerful than any Jedi. Hello there.
I'm just going to kind of cycle through all of them right now.
Darkness.
You can go ahead and jump ahead in the video a little bit here if you don't want to see each font.
General, to be shield royal. 300 years ago, I found you. They can't stop me now. Every Jedi who ever lived.
Ray Skywalker.
Final steps.
There's a lot of sound
Luke
fonts.
Skywalker. Vire
Of
Sabers.
course, we have the duality sound font on ours. I converted it over to Xeno. And it's actually pretty easy to convert to Xenopixel. I'll show you that as well. When I get to the computer, I'll record a little bit. And then we start in with the Reaver's Arsenal sound fonts.
Cyber Terror.
He just added like a bunch of really unique sounds to this. One of my favorites,
Dark Ages.
sword font. Okay, alright, so this next part's pretty important. So if you're scrolling through sound fonts, and there are a ton, which if you want to simplify it and you want to just delete off the ones you don't use, you can do that. But if you're like me and you're stingy and you want every single possible sound font on here, you're going to scroll through, and then if you're like, ah, crap, I missed the one that I wanted, or you don't want to go back through 30 fonts to get to, you know, one that was just a few back, you can in fact go back. It's a little tricky, but what you're going to do is you're going to point the blade down and just give it a twist to the left.
Vire Sabers.
Okay, so we're going to go forward by just holding the button down until it
Cyber
changes.
Terror. Dark Ages.
Okay, so,
Hatred.
whoops, I wanted the Dark Ages one. So we're going to point the blade down, give it a quick twist,
Dark Ages.
and now we're back on. Okay.
Hatred.
I'll show you just a couple more from the Reaver's pack.
Idol.
This one's cool. This one's more like a katana style.
Serenity.
Okay, so one of the things about the config currently is that you cannot edit the blade length. So for example, it comes pre-configured for a 36-inch blade. So if you do like tip drag, it's going to put your tip drag effect where it thinks the end of your blade is, which it currently is going to think that you're at a 36-inch blade. So if you use a 32 or a 28-inch blade, you're not going to get the tip drag effect. I currently have a 28-inch blade in mine, just because that's why I like to start. So if you point it down, you'll notice there's no effect. It would be out here. So I loaded in a 36-inch blade now. And you don't actually have to point it down. I don't know. I was even that confused with Profi, but so you turn it on. You're gonna hold the button for one flash and let go. One. Okay. So you see, tip of your blade is going to be white. Tap the button again and turn that off. If you want to do a lightning block, you're going to hold the button down and hit it. And that'll be like your, like your lockup effect. I'm going to try to go to a more quiet sound font. There we go. So one flash, let go, you get that. Hold down, flash it, you get the blade lockup effect. If you tap the button, of course you get your blaster block. 2 flashes, and that's going to start your color cycle. So it's just going to slowly start to kind of turn through all the colors. It's a good way to get exactly the color you want, but if you want something a little faster, I'll show you that as well. So when it gets to the color you want, you're just going to tap the button, and that'll lock it in. Or what you can do, you point your blade down. I'm actually going to switch back to my 28-inch blade. It's just a little bit easier for me to show on camera. I'm using one of the brass Vire Sabers knurled thumb screws. Patent not pending. But quicker way to change the color, at least in my opinion, I like this way better. You're going to turn the blade on. Instead of going 2 flashes and then letting go to get that slow color cycle, what we're going to do instead is we're going to turn it on, we're going to point the blade down and give it a twist while we're holding the button. So you're going to turn it on, hold the button, twist it, and then keep holding the button. So I'm going to turn it on, I'm holding the button, and twist. So I'm still holding the button, and it's just jumping to the next color. I like this way. I think it's a little faster, and if you want like a nice solid red, it's a little easier to get to than, you know, you might have like a slight pink hue if you're doing the color shift. So that's on the color I want, and there we go. And if you try and go back a font, these motion controls are a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it is actually pretty nice. So now I'm going to go back to that font again, and you'll see it remembered the color. So whatever color you park it on is what it's going to remember. And I believe if we continue holding the button to turn it off, if you don't want to do the twist control, if you just keep holding the button for like 10-15 seconds, eventually your red light is going to go off. Now you're back in deep sleep mode. So we're going to turn it on, and it still remembers the color. Okay, hey, it's tomorrow. Well, it's still today for you, but while I was editing the video, I realized I never showed you how to turn the music on and off. I did it a couple times on accident, and I forgot to explain how and what happened. So, if you have it on standby mode, and you twist the blade to the right and then to the left, you ignite the blade. If you twist it left and then right, so that would be clockwise and counterclockwise, and start music. Do it again, left to right, off. So left to right is music on, right to left turns this on. And I believe it's the same way with when you're pointing down. If you go right to left, you'll turn that on. And then if you go the other way,
Luke Skywalker.
it'll change back sound fonts. So you'll have, with the twist motion controls, right, left, on, left, right, music on, pointing it down, right, left, on, left, right is previous sound font. Anyway, back to yesterday. So, there you have it. That's pretty much all you need to know as far as the functionality goes. Still new to me, so I'm trying to work out everything 100%, but that's more or less how you do everything. And then the rest is done. There's some edits that you can do on the computer, and I will show you that now.
Okay guys, so you're going to pop the SD card out, put it into the little SD reader USB, and plug it into your computer, and here's what you're going to see. You can see that the font folders are just numbered. We have 1 through 21 currently on this card, and I'm going to show you how to add a new one. And I'll show you a little bit about the setup. So we click into 1. You can see it's got the font, all that stuff. Okay. So let's say we want to take the duality sound font here. This is currently set up for Profi, and I have already converted it here. That's what this is. So we're going to be taking a look at this, and we'll compare it to this. So let's move this over here, put this here. Okay. So some things are different. Oh, okay, well everything's different, but the way this is set up is kind of different than what you might be used to. So for example, we're looking at the blaster. Basically what you want to do is you want to mimic what you're going to find in one of these folders as far as how things are numbered. So blaster on Profi, for example, is BLST 01, 02, 03. When you're converting it for Xenopixel, you're just going to change the name. So you're going to change this one to blaster, and then in parentheses 1. And change this one in parentheses 2, and that's important that you follow that. And then we can look at some of the other ones, like Clash. So on Profi, it's CLSH01, where on here, we have Clash 1. So basically, you just want to go through every single one of these and name them like so, like you'll find in the example on any one of these on your Xenopixel. And you want to have them all in just the main folder. So whatever number folder you have, you're going to have them all in there. I know with Profi, sometimes you'll see they'll all be like this, where they're all spread out. And then other times font makers will choose to organize things like they did here. This one was made by Vire Sabers, and he went ahead and put everything in its own separate folder to make it a little nice and neat. So I would want to pull these out, copy them, and paste them into the main folder, and then rename them. So once I've renamed all my files, and I believe there either already is or somebody's currently working on a script to rename everything for you. You'll have to fish around in the community. Whenever I find that, I'll try to get it posted up somewhere for you guys. So we got everything converted. Here you can see I have renamed everything. So this is my font. And then the next thing I did was I looked on the SD card to see what the next number is. So 21 is where it stopped. So I renamed this instead of duality. I named it 22. So we're going to copy this and we're going to paste it over here like so. Okay, so now that's copied over onto here, and that will just automatically be read. We don't need to update the config or do anything like that. You can add as many fonts as you want. I believe somebody said they've tested up to 50 and it worked. So next thing I'll show you is how to update this and how to take a look at the config. So you've got all your font folders, and then down here you have the set folder right here. You're going to click into that. So this will have like your system menus, like your blade sounds, and these can be changed by you as well. So like this one, if you click in, currently these are all the same. You can rename these, or you can not rename them, but you can put in your own sounds if you want to remember. And I believe at some point these are going to be changed over to actual names. These are for the, I think when you click on, when you switch the pre-on effects, these are what play. And these are for the pre-ons. So these can be changed as well. So yeah, these are like system sounds. These aren't actual sound fonts. These are sounds that you're going to find outside of the sound fonts. Okay, so then you've got your config here. And real quick, before we look at the config, I'm going to show you how to update this. So this board currently has the V2 update. So we're going to put the V3 on it. So this is the folder that I have. And once I get, so right now everyone's going to have this coming from us. This is the third update. So everything you get from us will already have this on it. Once we start getting into update 4, I will post this as like a Dropbox link on probably the actual listing for Xenopixel on the website, and then I will also post it within, like on our Facebook page and all that. I'll make sure it's accessible, and if you still can't find it, reach out to me. I'll send you a link. So what you're going to do is you download this folder, you're going to open it up, and you're going to take the contents, and you're going to copy it, and you're going to paste it into the set folder. And remember, this is your main page here. You're going to go into set, right click, paste, and of course we already have a config file, but we want to replace it with the new config. So we're going to hit replace, and boom. So now we have this config here, and we have this update.bin file. So when it sees this update.bin, that is going to update the firmware on the board. So when you put your SD card in, and then you put your battery in, you're going to hear update started, and then it's going to take a few seconds, and then you're going to hear update success, and that's what you want. So that'll tell you that this worked. Okay, so now let's look at the config a little bit. So if we go to edit on the config, it's going to open this up, and here's some of the things we can edit. You got your side blade delay time. This is like if you have one of the Xenopixel cross blades. You can set your volume. I don't like messing with this from what they have at the factory. I feel like this is pretty well optimized for the default speakers. Now if you were to upgrade this to like one of the Smuggler Outpost speakers, then you would be able to probably crank that up a little bit more. So this is all stuff that you're not going to really want to mess with. Something you may want to mess with is your clash sensitivity. I turned mine up a little bit from the stock at the factory. I think theirs comes at like 2, so I bumped mine up to 3, just because I don't like all those ghost clashes when I'm spinning the saber around. You can do pulling and stabbing for on and off. I have stab power on, but I turn the stab power off. I set it to 0 because, you know, it doesn't make sense if you go to stab at a bad guy and then your saber turns off. So I disabled that one. But if that's your thing, you can turn it back on just by changing this to a 1. You got your twist power on and off. I've got twist power on set to on and twist power off set to on as well. So it'll twist on, twist off. You can change your sensitivity. 60 is the minimum. 200 from my experiments has been a pretty decent number, so that's what I set it to. But if you want it to be a little less sensitive, you can bump it down. If you want it to be more sensitive, you can bump that number up. Then we've got your swing power on. I got that set to on, and you can change the sensitivity. Bigger number means the harder you have to swing it. Then down here is where you get your preset colors for the sound bank. So you've got red, green, and blue, and then a mix of in between. So like this one here would be red. I believe this is Kylo Ren's font. Then here you have a mix of red and green. And then here you've got white, because this is going to be all 3. And then so on and so forth. So then when you add, if you add new sound fonts, so let's see, it looks like we've got all the way down to 33. So you could just copy and paste and just change the number if you wanted to do more on top of that. Currently, this is all you can edit in the config. Like I said, I believe there are plans to at least add in the blade length, which will be extremely helpful. And I'm sure there will be some other stuff that we can edit through the config eventually. But this is just a nice, simple config that you can go in, tweak it how you like it. And like I said, it's on the SD card. So we're just going to want to make sure we go to File and Save when we're done with that. Exit out of it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Not really all that complicated. You don't have to use any special programs. You just do everything you need to from the SD card. You're going to want to make sure when you're done with this, close out of it. And you're going to want to make sure that you eject this, because you never know. It could corrupt your SD card if you don't eject it right. So eject it, and then it's safe to pull out of the computer. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions with that, feel free to hit me up. It's still pretty new to me as well, so I'm trying to figure things out as we go, but I feel like I got enough of a grasp on it now that that'll help out. I know with the V3 update, some people have said that they've got kind of like a crackle that'll happen. In order to fix that, it seems like the best way to fix it is to actually... No, yeah, I ejected it. You want to open it, you put your SD card in, open it up, copy everything that's in it, put it in a folder on your desktop, just copy it, and then you're going to want to reformat that card. So format the card, and then put all the files back onto the card, and that seems to fix it for some reason. It's not an issue that I've come across yet, but I know some of the other vendors have had that problem. So if you see that happen, try that first. Yeah, but...
Alright guys, thanks for watching. That was the Xenopixel demonstration. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up either on email or preferably our Facebook page. The Facebook Messenger, me and my wife both monitor, so it tends to get answered a little bit quicker than emails because I'm in charge of emails and I'm not good at it. So, yeah, thanks again guys. Have a good one. We'll see you out there.